And it's like, how are you going to solve a problem when your whole rational mind has been flooded with all these negative, toxic emotions?
Yep.
So, in my view, when you're talking about us as a people and the amount of trauma we've experienced, we're probably most likely to have those crazy reactions to challenging situations, and these trauma responses. That's what Dr. Alicia refers to, my wife, Dr. Alicia refers to them as. Um, and I think so. This is to me speaks to the importance of things like healing, right? Healing, meditation, all these things that we think don't matter, that they do matter. What would you say to that?
Absolutely, they do. The beautiful thing about like hope is super powerful. Even that, when I first started, I was like, what's the difference between hope and resilience and hope and optimism? Like, aren't they the same? And they're not. They're actually different because you can be hopeful. I have hope that this is going to turn out, but I'm not optimistic that it's going to. I hope
Mm.
it does, but I'm not optimistic. Like you need them individually. You can be optimistic. I believe that this is going to happen, but I'm not hopeful that it will. Like you need them equally in both. And the trauma is what will trigger us to have one and not the other. I hope this is going to be good, but the past has shown me that it's not going to turn out well. So I'm not going to be optimistic that this time is going to be different. So to your math analogy, I didn't get it right the first time. I didn't get it right the second time. Chances are I'm not going to get it right the third time. So I'm not going to read it thoroughly. I'm not going to put in as much energy and effort. I'm not going to even try to see if I can get it right because I didn't get it right the first two times. That's the efficacy piece. Self-efficacy comes through and says, no matter what's in front of me, I'm going to keep pushing through. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying to do it better. But the world and society has done its best to beat us down as Black people. One
Mm.
of the things I always say about us, even before I did the psychology, my dissertation, and before I started looking at this, was that we are the most resilient people. We can make a dollar out of 15 cents. We are resilient. If we don't have hope, efficacy, or optimism, we are resilient, if nothing else. And resilience is great, but it's stronger when we don't have the trauma.
Mm.
Or if you have the trauma, but you can also have the hope and the optimism to say, although this thing has happened to me, although I don't have these things, although I may not show up with the same tools and resources, although I may not have gotten it right the first two times, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna play ball. I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna play. I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna try again. If we do that, that's where the hero comes from. That's where that psychological capital comes from. That mindset, man. If you show up, even with everything that has happened to you, prepared to play, at some point in time, you're gonna hit the ball.
Mm. Wow, I love that. I'm just processing what you said because that's super powerful. I mean, like that's church in my opinion. Like that's something that's and I mean, and even speaking of church, there's a benefit of that, right? Church gives us faith, right? Faith can sometimes be something you can hold on to during a dark storm, I think, though, but they always also say in the smart churches what faith without works is dead, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there's lots of lessons.
Look at you quoting on Bible stuff.
Yeah, both my daddies are pastors. I don't know if you know that or not. Yeah, yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, my biological daddy and my daddy that raised me, they were both pastors. So people keep saying that I'm just running away from God or something. But I don't think I'm running away from God. I think I ran out of the church to get closer to God. Thank you very much. Can I get an
Listen,
amen?
and the devil, sometimes you got to do that.
Some of these churches ain't got nothing to do with God, and that's what I stand on. But then some churches really are nailing it and doing the right thing, right? So we can't, sort of clump together all of our churches, right? But with that said, though, so Dr. Javette, I'm really thinking about your model. So the hero model, is that something that was out there already, or something that you developed in your dissertation, or?
Yeah, it was already out there. It was not developed by me. It's newer though, so there's not a lot of research on it.
Mhm.
Um, and because it's newer, there's definitely not a lot of research on Black people. Again, mostly it's sports. Then it went to, I think, firefighters and policemen.